Today, we're sitting down with Jordan Young, a powerhouse drummer whose dynamic approach bridges the tradition of jazz with fresh modern influences. A Detroit native, Jordan cut his teeth playing everything from rock and metal to jazz before diving deep into the art of swing. His journey has taken him from the University of Michigan to Manhattan School of Music and then finally to Juilliard. His latest album features Brian Charette, Matt Chertkoff, and Nick Hempton, with influences ranging from Jimmy Smith and Jack McDuff to the Beatles and 70s TV soundtracks. Jordan's music speaks to both jazz pursuits and modern listeners alike. So definitely looking forward to speaking with him today. So we're live with Jordan Young. So Jordan, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Hey, been a minute. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been too long. You know,
Way too long, yeah.
so kind of catch me up with what's been going on. I know the city's definitely
Oh,
back since the pandemic and stuff. You know, you're working
oh
again,
yeah.
but everyone took kind of a left turn into nothing in the music world. But
Yeah.
now we're back. So catch me up with what's been going on for you at least.
Well, it's definitely been a little weird since you can definitely feel an after pandemic and before pandemic, you know. I'm pretty much back to working, I mean it's the same old rat race. You have really busy weeks and then some not so busy weeks. And I mean, since I kind of doing the same thing, teaching a bit. I have two kids now with so that takes up a lot of time, you know. But pretty much same old, same old. I call for gigs, I play some sessions, that kind of stuff, recording sessions.
Do you
But
feel? I mean, now that you're a little bit older,
yeah,
I think you're a little bit older than me. Uh, you're in your 40s, right?
I'm late 20s.
So
No,
you're a little
no, that 47, 40. Yeah,
you still look the same. But
go ahead.
you're a little older now, and that's the thing.
Thank you.
This music, there's so many different generations, people in their 20s and in their 30s. I mean, when we worked together, it
Mhm.
was probably in my late 20s or something, early 30s. And now that you're a little older, do you feel the change just in the way you relate to the scene in general, that you're in that older generation now? I mean, it's not you're not old, but
Um,
you're definitely not
it's
in your
weird to say
20s
that.
anymore.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. It's definitely, yes. The waves have, tides have shift. For lack of a better cliche. Yeah, I don't feel like. Listen, I still feel like I'm the same person trying to get better at the music. And I'm haven't gotten to the point of. I mean, we can go deep in this, man, but I mean, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. Everybody, come learn from me. I feel like I have
Well,
tons of
you
experience,
haven't
but
no one.
it's never ending.
Oh yeah. Well, you're saying you're not at that point. Do you feel like the journey has always been the same, or has it shifted more in the last couple of years? I mean, because we have different goals, that sort of thing. Obviously, everyone wants to play at the Village Vanguard, but like, have your goals
Right.
changed in terms of, or the way you want to approach playing with different people? Where
My
are you at
goals have
now?
been pretty. They've it's pretty basic. My goal's always been just to people call me because they like playing with me and they like what I do, and I want to kind of keep doing that. I mean, that's been kind of what I've always wanted to do, is be like the guy that people wanted to have in their band, and to play their music to the best of my ability and have a good time doing it. I don't think my goals have changed much. I mean, with the internet and social media, that's obviously changed things as far as like maybe there's more people see you more if you put a video online. They can see you in Tokyo or you know anywhere. So that's opened up the thing a little
Well,
bit.
you know what I like about you, Jordan, is that you're a band leader and you're a sideman. And I feel like anyone who's a sideman should at least do like
Yeah.
one gig a year as a band leader or something, just to remember what it's like in terms of the logistics of being the one who represents. Even though it's a collaborative effort, there's the other components that go into it. So I really appreciate that about you.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of has to be. That's one thing I will say. Age has got me better at, and also having a family is that talking to people is very important. And not everyone is a musician, and you can't be all mumbly and like artistic in the sense. You have to kind of know how to
Pretentious.
talk to all kinds of people. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but not pretentious. You have to be able to if you're leading you're not just playing the music. You gotta talk to the person who's playing. You have to be open to. I mean, depending on the venue, obviously, if it's a concert or that kind of thing, it's different, or a club. But if you're playing a restaurant or just a pickup gig, whatnot, that everyone does, you kind of got to be aware of your surroundings and how the person that hired you feel. I mean, maybe you're playing too loud for that place, that kind of thing. Maybe you realize that people aren't really into what you're doing, but you have other things you can do. Like I play a lot with the organ trio, and with certain people, you can kind of shift. If I mean, if I'm trying to say is you don't only have to have a set one set organized organization of music and be like, that's what I'm playing and that's it. I kind of like the fact that I can, if I feel like, this place is really, they're kind of into the groove and the funk thing. We should probably do that, give a little more to that to them. And it's not like I'm sacrificing what we're doing because I have that bag too. We have the straight ahead thing and we have the other more, 60s, 70s boogaloo funk kind of stuff. So I think being having more experience has and age has given me that kind of awareness, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
playing the
And
room.
this is obviously for like, yeah, playing the room. I mean, and this is not for place, and they want a specific thing, and you're bringing the whole package to them. That depends, but you got to be flexible. I feel.
Do you think a lot of musicians they're lacking this awareness?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure not everyone is, but I think
Like
sometimes when you're
maybe
young,
at least 50%, it could be 50% don't think about these things. You have to play the room and really well, I'm not talking about volume, but play the music that best suits, like, even in a restaurant, you need to think about these things if you really
yeah.
want
Well,
to be
I've seen
successful.
videos online of people playing in a restaurant and they're playing this crazy like I don't know, avant-garde, but just kind of like sophistifunk, like kind of it totally seems like the wrong gig. And it's like people are trying to eat and stuff like that, and it's the musicians are great, but it's like the wrong. It just seemed like man, that would annoy me if I was in a restaurant listening to that.
Yeah, it's
You know?
funny. It's funny. We're talking about playing in restaurants. It's something I do quite often. And it's sometimes I'll go to a restaurant just to dine there and I hear the music and I'm like, just get me as far away as possible because this
Right.
is just so loud. It's going to ruin my dinner.
Yep. I mean, this is obviously one aspect of being a professional musician. I mean, it wasn't any of our goals, I think, to be the restaurant guitar player or drummer. But I always said I always wanted to work, so that's part of it. I mean, I've seen the biggest name cats playing in restaurants.
Oh, you don't have to tell me, man. I know.
It's words, like you know, you know,
It's
um, even places that have been clubs that, yeah,
No, I think you're
sorry,
100% right. I think the point you're making is that we're not above any gigs. If you're really serious about the art, we're not above anything in terms of gigs.
I mean, you don't have to take it if you don't want. I mean,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're above it, you just don't take it. I never take. I really don't take anything I don't want to take. I mean, if it's just at that point in my life, I'm not gonna. If it's gonna be, if it's gonna take away from any good feeling I have, I mean, besides just the normal logistics of getting to the gig and parking all that kind of stuff in the city, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I want to have fun playing. I mean, that's at this point that should be what we're doing, right?
No, I
Shouldn't
totally,
hate it. Otherwise,
yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I totally
I'll do
understand
something
what you're
else.
saying. And I don't mean like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean, I'm not talking about doing gigs for free, but I'm just talking about the setting of where the music is. Like if the gig pays, if it's good situation, we have to consider these things. But like you said, you've seen some of the best play in restaurants and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
And they play the room mostly. I mean, it's a job, they play the room. I mean, there have been places that have kind of, I mean, there are New York staple places there are restaurants that are known for having live music, but it's a certain type of music and certain people fit in there. So they don't have to really adjust to the thing like the Knickerbocker or Bradley's used to be. It was piano trio. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, there wasn't, John McLaughlin wasn't going in there and shredding. I mean, this wasn't the vibe. So it's just got to be aware of that stuff. And I think today it's a different world, and different people that own these places are not in their 70s. They're like in their late 20s, 30s.
Sure.
So I mean, what do they know about not everybody. It's listen. I've also learned that you can't put a blanket statement over everything. You know,
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely. Yeah.
the second you say, "Oh, everyone's this or everyone's that," you're proved wrong and immediately. You know, so you gotta have an opinion and have like your own thing, but you gotta be open to the fact that oh maybe that's not what I thought it was.
We really don't know anything because we're not
I
mind
mean,
readers.
I don't. I mean, you only know what you know, and you can hope that you know you're still you open.
it's only now as getting older that I can look back at my younger self and I thought I knew like why the career was going in a certain trajectory, what have you. But now that I'm older and I can look back and be like, wow, I really didn't. I'm not a mind reader. I didn't know fucking anything. And these are just things that come with time.
Yeah, and I've always looked to older musicians or more experienced musicians to get the opportunity to play with because you learn from them. That's the thing I love about this music too. We're talking about quote unquote jazz, whatever you want to call it. It's a huge. There's a lot of things under that umbrella, but I've always liked the fact that as you get older, you get better,
Hmm.
and you learn more and it gets deeper. That to me was very attractive. So I always try to find people that have more experience than me that I could learn from, and my peers, of course. But usually my peers were on the kind of on the same vibe, as opposed to, oh, I'm young, you don't know anything. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. Oh well, we get wiser as we get older. Let's talk a little bit about Juilliard because I know you
Mm.
got what is it called, the artist diploma, something like that, or some sort of certificate.
Artist diploma, yes, yeah, exactly. Artist diploma. It was, yeah, that was 2015,
So that's
2016.
about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's amazing.
obviously you learned a lot, being in Juilliard, and I'm sure you had some great teachers and we're getting good situations. Looking back on it now,
Uh,
is it something that
yeah,
really put your career in a place you would not be in had you not pursued that that degree?
I don't know that. I mean, I got to, I studied with the great Billy Drummond, and I haven't seen him in a while. I should give him a call, but that was incredible. I mean, that's Carl Allen, great drummer and educator, was there. It was a strange time because Carl Allen was leading the program for the first half, and then Wynton Marsalis came in and kind of revamped it. So I was stuck in the middle of that. I mean, I think it was a great experience. It was for that reason. I mean, it was just a lot of interesting. Being in that school was incredible, but having to be certain level professionalism as far as like gigs. Like if they sent you on a gig, you had to. It was a little bit uncomfortable at first. You got to be kind of serious, But it kind of taught you to
You mean
just kind
serious
of.
because it's the Juilliard name and they know that's where you're coming
Yeah,
from?
there's a Juilliard name, and when you fill out forms, they really dot their I's and cross their T's. It's not. There's nothing that's like haphazard as far as organization. So it just had a very professional. There's nothing loose about that school, really, which
Would
is
you advise somebody who, let's say they've gotten their master's degree, they're just still not where they want to be in terms of the way they play or their career? Would an artist diploma be something that they should consider?
I don't know. It depends on the
It
person.
doesn't
It's
have to
really
be
individual.
Juilliard. Maybe there's other schools that do it. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when you're older, if you're a little bit, I think it's a one option. That's good. If you're a little lost and you feel like I really would like to be in an environment that is focusing on performing, and I feel like that'll help me. Yeah, then yeah, but I don't think it's necessary. I liked it because they sent. I got to travel all over the world. The first part went to Italy, went to Brazil. I made some good friends. The band I was working with. We had rehearsals twice a week. So for better for worse, I'm a lot of great teachers were there, and so it was a great experience for connections. I think
What if
actually. I mean,
let's say what percentage do you think your playing improved after attending the program, would you say? Like we go up like levels and
yeah,
when we get better, like if you had to put a number on it, like percentage wise.
like being like 100 being like I was kind of only okay. Then I don't know.
Or like, let's say,
It's
oh,
hard to
after the
put it,
program, I got 25% better or something like that, or 50, whatever you honestly feel conservatively. I'm just kind of curious your perspective.
it's been a long time. I'd say better. I don't know about musically as much. Just maybe just in the world of understanding, where the jazz education is. It was a good vantage point. I got to, that way. Playing wise, it's
Are
tough to
you
say,
saying
man.
that, you were still playing, relatively similar to when you left? You just learned more in other areas. Just fine.
Learn more. I mean, I think I'm playing better now than I've ever played because I keep practicing and listen and caring about the music. So, but then I think it's been a while. I forget, but I think I definitely started to come into my own a little bit. But also, you're mixed. I was already like 40 when I did that program. So, and you're playing with people who are in their 20s or you're in school, so it's a mixed bag. So it's like, it was strange to be. I hadn't gone to school for 10 years. Sorry, it's hard to answer the question directly because I haven't thought about that. But
I ask challenging
yeah,
questions sometimes.
yeah,
I
yeah, it's
apologize.
good. It's good. No, but I hope I don't sound like this stumbling idiot. But
No, 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 no. You're
stumbling
just giving
idiot.
an
Yeah,
honest answer because
yeah, yeah.
but the truth is, Jordan, that there are people out there who even if they got an undergraduate degree or something, they're like, should I go get a master's? I actually know someone who just got his doctorate in music.
Well, check
And
this out. I feel like I already had. I mean, by the time I did the artist diploma, I was already been here for 15 years playing and stuff. So it was cool to get some. And I had studied with Carl Allen for years privately before the
before.
Juilliard program. So it was just part of it. It wasn't. I'd say for kids who people that come into undergrad and they have like 4 years when you go from high school to 4 or 5 years of college, then you can really say my playing changed because you really just get. I mean, it's harder to say when you've already been doing it for so long and in that way. But I think definitely I got some more awareness. Sure.
Well, let's go in a different direction now.
Okay.
Let's talk about what I'd like to talk to you about is you said you were also teaching too, which is part of how being a professional musician.
Hmm.
I'll tell you something that happened Friday. I got a email from the college I teach at, and in 2 years
Hmm.
they're getting rid of the arts department. So
Wow. Sorry to hear.
there's something. No, it's fine. I mean, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I know,
The
but it's also is it a sign of the times? I'm wondering if it's just coincidence. Anyway, go
No,
on.
no, I'm saying I'm going to talk to you about about the times and
Yeah.
everything. So when you teach, do you have to kind of stay ahead of the game in terms of finding things that you will retain students? Do you have to kind of almost like adapt as the technology goes? Has your teaching changed in any way over the years because there is that side of the arts which is certainly changing, just in terms of people aren't as interested anymore.
Well, it depends. I mean, lately, New York City is and New York is always been such a cultural place. I think big cities tend to have more interest out in the arts.
Hmm.
I use technology if it helps, but I always wanted to balance. I teach you mainly just private lessons now. I mean, I've taught at schools. I've done, God, I mean, I've been here for 25 years. So I've taught at music programs and everything, but ultimately I'm just teaching private lessons when people want to study with me and a few steady ones. But sorry, what was the question again?
If you
What
feel
was the
that
initial
you're
question?
teaching, if you feel that you if you feel like because of the times and everything, like every attention spans are short, we have to kind of adapt with them in
Well,
the way we teach. Has that changed
okay,
for you teaching wise the way you do approach things?
for sure. You have to. Unfortunately, the attention spans generally do suck. So I felt myself I have a little pressure on myself to change up the lesson if the student doesn't seem interested, which is kind of screwy because if you're going to go take a lesson, you should. When I was taking lessons, it was like I'm going to take lessons with the person. I'm lucky to take lessons with them, and I'm taking the lesson. They're going to show me, and I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, and they're not going to change their thing. I mean, it's just that to me is weird.
Do you have
I would,
students who are super like into jazz, like, oh, Jordan, like show me this. How do they do that? Like, do you have any students who are on that
um,
level?
I've had some, but right now, no, a little bit of jazz, but mainly it's just getting control of instrument a little bit, which is hard to teach. There's certain things that are hard to teach because they're might be mechanical, and student and people want to just rip right away, and it's like, why can't I want to play this, I want to do this. I'm like, well, how's your upstroke? I mean, it sounds so lame, but it's like if they maybe worked on that a little bit, you could see how, because I can see how what's holding them back, but it's hard to get people to do things like that now, something
Yeah.
as as mundane as working on your flat picking or something. you
Flat.
know